shit, yeah, they bread stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an...
Welcome back to Mad Matty Fight Talk, everybody. Your host here, Mad Matty with Crazy Chris. Once again, we're back at it. It's another great day when you love MMA. Merry Christmas to everybody. It's Christmas Day over here, and the grind don't stop. Might as well end the year with a bang. 2021 was a fun-filled, action-packed, record-setting year for the UFC, and specifically, we're doing this video for the UFC in general. It was just amazing fights throughout the entire year. Dana White did a great job of putting on a whole bunch of good shows for us. So this episode, we're going to end the year with a bang. We're going to give you Mad Matty and Crazy Chris's top 5 fights of the year, who we thought had the best action-packed fights out of the entire year and all the fights that we saw, and also the top 3 performances of the year with a few special shout-outs towards the end. So obviously, we're going to start off with the top 5 fights of the year. And we're going to go from 5 to 1. So who do you got in 5th place, Crazy Chris?
Again, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please give us a like and subscribe for more content, and go ahead and drop a comment below on what you guys want us to do videos on next year. So again, so hard to pick. The year for the UFC has been phenomenal. I mean, just wow. If you're a fight fan, MMA fan in particular, what a great year, right? So to dive into my top 5, it's going to be a tricky one, and I know there's so many people that could have stole this, number 1 through number 5, easily could be moved all up and down the place. But I'm going to start off at number 5. Volkanovski defends his 145 belt to retain his championship against Ortega, and what a slugfest it was. Getting put in those deep submission chokes, getting, when he had the interview and he's like, it was the I might lose my belt moment. That's when it made that fight even more special, and just what a slugfest that was. So that's my number 5 for top 5 fights of the year.
That was an absolute war, and definitely is well put. But yeah, I'm gonna go with my number 5 here. It's a little bit of a curveball, but for me as an MMA fight fan and everything I want to see in a fight, I have to give it to the Ultimate Fighter finale. And excuse me if I butcher these guys' names, but it is what it is. I got the Ultimate Fighter finale, Ricky Turcios versus Brady Highstand. That was an absolute war. They put the gas pedal down from the very first exchange, and they did not stop. So that's who I got in 5th place right now. Moving on to number 4.
That's a great, well, just real quick, that's a great fight. And, as an MMA fan, those, again, 2 big prospects. What a great fight that was.
Dude, they showed why they deserve a contract. So that was a good fight. Moving on to number 4, who do you have in 4th place right now for top 5 of the year?
So number 4, man, I got Dillashaw, Dollar Billashaw versus Cody Sandhagen. What a phenomenal comeback for TJ, and just a war between 2 guys who've trained together and know each other's techniques really well. And I mean, it could have went either way. I personally thought Corey won, but TJ slips away a split decision and walks away with that W. And it was an absolutely phenomenal fight.
Just for the record, we did not tell each other who we put in the top 5, and we wanted to say it while we were filming live. And unbelievably, and this was a really close one between another fight, I have Corey Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw.
No
I did.
way.
Dude, it was up and up with another fight.
Such a good fight.
It was up and up with another fight that didn't make the top 5, which I had Zhang Wei Li and Rose Namajunas. I couldn't decide between that or the Sandhagen one, but honestly, the Sandhagen fight, I was more on the edge of who was going to win that fight. And that's why I got in the 4th place.
I was going to put, Peter Yan versus Sandhagen, but I just think Peter Yan outclassed Sandhagen.
He did more than, it was a closer fight with Dillashaw.
I think Dillashaw was a real close fight. Even almost, I could say Sandhagen, took that one a little bit, in my opinion. But again, it's not a street fight. This is a technical fight of, judges on scorecards. But yes, that's my number 4.
And no problems there with number 4. Let me start off with number 4 as well. It is my number 4 as well. And I'll start off with number 3. For my 3rd place in the top 5 of the year, I have who he has, Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega. That one was, dude, it was a little bit higher up than for me because of him escaping the submissions, the damage that both of these guys took.
Absolutely.
You get distracted by the almost submission attempt, but Brian was landing shots on him. He made him work, and they just put a pace on it. It's very hard to, last when you're fighting. But regardless, they got into my third spot. That's who I have in my third spot. So who do you have?
That's such a good fight, man. It was such a great fight. And the submissions, like you said, were the cherry on top. My number 3 spot, I have none other than my boy from Bellator, Michael Chandler versus Gaethje. What a war that was. It was a phenomenal fight. I mean, look, this is one where both guys had a gentleman's agreement and said, we're throwing technique out the window. I'm going to punch you in your face. You're going to punch me in the face, and we're going to see who stands up. And I love that fight. If you're a fight fan, you have to love it. I put it number 3. I wanted to put it more, a little bit higher up there, but the gas tank for Chandler, the damage he was taking slipped the third round. So, it was really where Gaethje took over. And in my opinion, that fight kind of, went away of its glory in the third. But for the first 2 rounds, what a back and forth battle it was. It was phenomenal.
What an absolute war. It's going to be in anybody's top 5. So there's no questions asked with that one. Instant classic.
Instant classic.
So now that was number 3 for you.
That was number 3 for me.
So here we go. Top 2. And we'll start off with you, Crazy Chris. Who do you have as your number 2 of the top 5 fights of the year?
I have a former Tiger Muay Thai head coach versus the current Tiger head Muay Thai coach, Brad Riddell versus Rafael Fieza. What a back and forth fight that was all the way until that spinning head kick. I mean, what a good fight. Both guys technical. Brad came out there with absolutely no playing around. He came in ready he knew how dangerous it was. And Fieza saying, I didn't want to do any spinning moves because he's such a good Muay Thai guy. I didn't want to show him anything too early, all the way until halfway through the first, third round. So, and up until that point, it was a really back and forth fight. I was really curious to see that go to the judges' scorecards. But again, that's my number 2, just because, man, if you don't know, those guys were putting it on each other. Go check that fight out.
That fight was extremely good. Yes, I agree with you on that. My number 2 fight, I'm going to have to go with the long anticipated return of Yair Rodriguez versus Max Holloway. That fight was unbelievable to me because of the pace and the strikes that they were landing, not just throwing. These guys were finishing moves back and forth, and they were eating it and moving forward, and the amount of respect they showed afterwards was just amazing. It just shows what great sport it is. But the back and forth those guys had, and the combinations and moves that they were landing on each other, was just amazing. And it did not stop from the beginning till the end. So what a great fight that was. And it's going to land in my number 2 spot. So here we are, number 1. And like I said, we didn't plan this out. We didn't talk to each other about who we put here. So if we have the same fights, it is what it is. And this is just our opinion. You guys obviously have yours too. Hit us in the comments of what you think. But who do you have as your number 1 fight of 2021?
My number 1 fight goes to Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez.
Bro, it's a good fight.
Our boy from the 808 state. It was tough. I had Max versus Calvin Kattar, but it wasn't a back and forth fight. And Yair dangerously put it on him early on. And that was so scary.
2-year layoff coming off of, on top of that.
Absolute. And Max had no layoff. This is prime Max. So for me, the damage both sides took and, continue to have that warrior spirit all the way to the ambulance shows what the sport's about. My number 1 fight. Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, you have lifetime fans in me, all because of that one fight. Way to go, guys. Put it all on the line.
I cannot argue with that. And like I said, these could go in any direction. This is just where I had to lay it out.
I'm curious to see your number 1 spot now.
Well, my number 1, this is, you're going to laugh here, Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Bro, listen,
go.
First of all, what the fuck was the UFC thinking putting that as the first fight on the pay-per-view? That stole the show. It was one of the craziest fights I've ever seen. Both guys got cracked. Both guys kept coming forward. Like you said, it was the third round. Look, obviously Chandler was a little bit winded. He got dropped hard with an uppercut. But the fact that he stayed in there and I believe, I don't know if he lost every round, but I think a judge might have even given it to him. I don't remember if it was a split or what,
No,
Just
no,
re-
no. It was a
it was a
UD,
UD.
unanimous.
Regardless, the fact that he stood in there and made that such a war and just decided, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna just throw bombs with this guy. He even suplexed Gaethje. There was everything in that fight. Big shots,
He
big
also hit him with
wrestling.
the straight right that wobbled Gaethje.
He did, yeah, but Gaethje obviously did the more damage. My point was that that fight was so hyped up and it lived up to everything that it was hyped up to be. Honestly, that should have been the main event. I had more fun watching that. I didn't even watch the next fight because of that. I was so adrenaline rushed watching that. We were literally losing our minds watching that fight together. It was just every time somebody struggles, like, oh my God, like it's just, dude, too much power in one fight.
When he landed the uppercut, and I was thinking, I even put my hand on your chest. I was like, oh, it's done, it's done. And he got up, and I was like, no way, this guy's still walking.
Heart of a lion, like Chandler gets nothing but credit for sure. That. So there you go. That's the top 5 fights of 2021. Obviously, hit us in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. Look, dude, we're just humble fight fans. You guys can judge us how you want. You can think we're idiots. I don't give a shit. This is me watching every single event of this year. I did not miss a single event. Watched every single fight. Obviously, there were other ones that might have been better on the lower cards, but these guys, I gave these guys my top 5 because they were on main cards or main events where the lights are on you. You are the headliner, you are in the main card, and you need to live up to your expectations. So that's why these guys made my top 5. So
no, you said it best. There was tons of great fights that we could have chose from, but obviously we're gonna pick from the top 15. So, these guys have to, they got the due respect they deserve, right? They need to get that recognition. So, and yeah, we didn't plan any of this. We didn't talk about any of this. We picked the same fights. It is what it is. But let's go ahead into the top performances of the year, leading in with you, Matt. We have 3 top performances of the year. We're going to rank from 3rd to 1st. Again, we didn't go over this. We didn't plan any of this. We're just picking our top performances.
Who we thought just put on a hell of a performance in whatever way that we define that, as you guys would understand. So my number 3rd performance of the year obviously would be none other than Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar to start the year off in January, where Max landed the most significant strikes ever in a UFC fight and literally just put on a boxing clinic, was literally looking at the commentator booth saying, I'm the best boxer in the world, while slipping and ripping. How can you not want that in your top 3? So that's my 3rd. It's just one hell of a performance. I wanted to put it in fight of the year, but it wasn't a fight. It was just Max, a one-side beatdown over Kattar.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to Kattar. Dude can take a beating and still keep coming, man.
He has a chin,
and he's not an easy fight. That guy's not an easy fight for anybody at 145.
Like they say,
absolutely,
it takes 2 to make a record. So good job taking that ass whooping. So who do we got for you?
Number 3, I have Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan when he acted like he got hit with that knee.
That is Oscar nominated.
I'm just kidding, dude. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to throw that in there because I thought that was funny.
That is funny. That is a hell of a performance.
I mean, he won it. The only guy I've seen to win a championship like that. You got to give him some kind of credit.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
No, let's be serious. All right, let's get back in for the real fight fans. I got Glover Teixeira getting his championship belt after 40 years old, taking on Blonde Vahovic. And I mean, it was just an amazing, as a fight fan, it's amazing to see what that guy has conquered and come through, and just to keep going and finally, capture a belt after, Jan has really proven himself as a champion. So for me, it was just an amazing experience.
I was very shocked about how one-sided of an ass whooping that was. Glover just proved the world.
That's why he's on my performance. The top 3 performances.
Amazing.
It wasn't a back and forth. He went in there and handled business for 2 rounds.
Yeah, I just don't understand how you can just destroy Izzy with wrestling and then get fucking literally just destroyed. It's just whatever. It was,
again,
hell of a performance,
right? A great performance. You got to give it to him.
He's been on a run as an older man, and he honestly looks like he might be running shit for a little bit. So that's a good one. Number 2, we're gonna get right into this. I got Francis Ngannou when he took out Stipe Miocic. That to me was definitely a performance of the year because, one, you're taking on a guy who absolutely embarrassed you and made you replan everything you were doing, reevaluate yourself. And he did. And he showed up big time in that fight. And he ended that with a vicious knockout over a very decorated heavyweight champion. So that is definitely number 2 on my top 3 performances.
Awesome fight. This one was tough. I had it between 2 different fights, and you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and give them both the number 2 spot because I really couldn't choose. We have Usman versus Masvidal 2. The knockout of Masvidal after Usman re-grants him a full fight camp. Just, I mean, you got to give it that amazing performance.
Vicious knockout.
Number 2 to tie for that was Israel Adesanya's beatdown over Paulo Costa. I mean, dude had no chance at all. He had no chance in that fight. It was just a vicious,
undefeated, dangerous striker, completely neutralized.
He made him move up a weight class. He kicked him out of the weight class completely. I mean, just crazy. So those are my number 2 tied right there.
That one in particular was funny to me because I never heard more excuses coming from somebody in the UFC after a loss. Oh, I was just the wine. I just drank a whole bunch of wine. I didn't train or I don't know what was going on.
That John Jones effect. That John Jones effect.
Bro, just take your L. Just be a man. Be a man.
Now, now he has to move up to 205. He has new fights ahead of him. He's a big, strong guy. It's going to be a great, but as far as we're talking performances, right? Like these guys went out and shut the fucking show down.
Yeah,
so Usman versus Masvidal to come back after saying, hey, you know what? You had 6 days, go take a full fight camp and meet me back in the octagon to knock him out.
Is Usman from Florida?
No, Usman's not. He's originally from Nigeria. I'm not
Does
sure.
Does he live in Florida?
I'm not sure where he lives in the United States.
Well, all I know is Masvidal is from Florida, and he went into the hometown and put that man's lights out. So to go into somebody's neck of the woods and take them out like that, unconscious, sleeping on your shoulder, beautiful. So
yeah, crazy knockout.
Number 1 performance of the year, top performance of the year. Who do you have in number 1?
Man, I took a long time to think about this, and there's so many people I could just easily hand this award to, but the one person that I'm giving this to, they came from a lot of adversity, lost some big fights and won some big close fights to get back to where she was. And Thug Rose versus Wei Li won the head kick knockout to recapture that one, the strawweight championship. Was absolutely one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. And she just looks so light on her feet, so smooth and technical. Her eyes were like a computer calculating every move. And just to see her go and just clack that foot up there, it was just absolutely amazing to watch. I was at the time in a hotel casino with hundreds of people who would purchase it, and the whole place went quiet and then erupted immediately after. It was crazy to watch.
Yeah, Thug Rose, nasty knockout. Looked like she hit Wei Li with a baseball bat across the chin when she got done with that one. That was a beautiful, beautiful knockout. Definitely well earned for top performance. And I'm going to end mine with number 1 is also in the female fight spectrum. Juliana Pena defeating Amanda Nunes. To me, that's the best performance of the year. And it came late in the year because you took out the most scary, most intimidating, and most decorated women's fighter of all time. There will not be somebody else like Amanda Nunes. No. There will never. She took out Ronda Rousey, who laid the pavement for the rest of these women, and then she kept paving the road. So for Pena to take her out and to come back from a round 1 like where she got dominated, that has to be in the top, performances of all time.
We could easily say that was a comeback, an upset comeback. It was everything all in one fight. It was greater than George St. Okay, I'm not going to say it was greater. But what I will say is this woman's on a 12-fight winning streak. She has beat the best women in the entire world. Knocked out Cyborg, knocked out Rousey, knocked out Holly Holm with a head kick. I mean, done it all, right? Tapping people out and jumping up and down weight classes. And she got her ass beat for a full 5 minutes and then came back and put it on her with punches and takedowns and just relentless pressure. Amazing fight.
The thing I loved about that the most is that it ended with a finish. It did not go to decision. She ended that fight. There's no controversy. There's no, oh man, the judges got it wrong. It was, I finished you. So now you know, that puts a lot of limelight on her, and she earned it. So there you guys have it.
I'm gonna give one big shout out real quick. I have a shout out fighter. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a big shout out. Is Bilal Muhammad. I know a lot of people are giving this guy a hard time, but for him to come out and have the year that he's had and just continuously putting, like, you know, he doesn't have the most exciting fight style. I'll give everybody that. But this guy is winning fights, and he is putting top guys in the top 10, making them look like they are silly. The only fight that I was worried about was Leon Edwards. Very close fight. You know, it got ended on an eye poke.
I would like
Leon
to see
said
them
it
run
went,
that back.
you know, his way. And it would, I would like to see them run that back as well.
I would
but
like to
you
see them run
cannot
that
take
back.
away, but you cannot take away the fact that Bilal is on a hot streak and he
Oh,
is
no.
coming from the top.
I agree with you. Yeah, shout out to Bilal Muhammad. That guy, remember the name. That dude, he reminds me of Usman when Usman started taking over. Usman did the exact same shit. People thought, oh, he's a boring wrestler. He only got good at striking towards the championship run and all that when he fought Covington's, when he really started getting explosive.
Moved camps and all that.
Exactly. He didn't have the hands the entire time. If you've been following him from the beginning, which we have, he developed that, and now it's even more dangerous. So Bilal is actually a good matchup at 170, and I would like to see that come to fruition. Either set him up with Leon Edwards or set him up with somebody really high up in that division, like a Kobe Covington.
Even a Gilbert Burns would be nice. You know, that would be a good matchup.
I'd rather see it. Well, you got to think Thompson beat Burns. He destroyed Thompson. I want to see him fight Covington or Usman because he's on that level. To me, he's a top 3, top 4. And for me, special shout out, Sugar Sean O'Malley, the Sugar Show. He brings that shit every time he fights. The dude has the nastiest knockouts of this year. Some of the worst beatdowns, some of the best knockouts. And honestly, dude, the guy is just getting better and better and better. And he's finally going to be in 2022 a ranked fighter, and he's going to get ranked opponents. Dana needs to pay him the big bucks, and he's only going to keep showing up.
You know, the year for Sean O'Malley that's coming up is going to be his biggest year to date. Ranked opponents, ranked fighter himself. I mean, knocking guys the F out with just ridiculous combos and stamina and settings. You know, his speed, his footwork, everything. You know, if he can get that leg thing under control, where, you know, because he says it's not an issue, but his ankle and his nerves in that leg, it's a problem, man. And he even said if it continues to happen, he would call it his own career. So I'd like to see him be strong, healthy, and really take a run at that top 10 next year. And I think it's going to be a phenomenal year for him.
Yeah, I agree. And regardless, Sugar's making the money. He has his own platforms. The guy's smart, man. He doesn't need fighting.
I'm not talking about
needs him.
Platforms.
I
know. I want to see him as a fighter. He's phenomenal, man. I love what his footwork, the way he moves in and out and switches stances. It's crazy to watch. I love it.
His controlling the distance, the way he's in and out. It's just, for being a tall guy like that, he leaves no openings. He's beautiful.
Very, again, like, it's like when you're, when you're sparring somebody and their eyes are calculating everything in seconds. It's just great. He's one of those guys. And, the way he fights, to stand-up guys calculate things a lot different than wrestlers do, right? When they're on the ground, they're more feel, and they don't even need to see you. They just kind of grapple you, right? Touch, when you're doing touch and striking the way Sean O'Malley is, switching stance, moving in and out, a Dominic Cruz style, your eyes are telling a story as well, right? You're reading them and they're reading you, and it's a back and forth battle. So the way he's been putting these guys out, I mean, dude, I don't know, the guy's name is Chris, but he beat the shit out of that guy, and they stopped it. I was, 2 rounds too late. They should have stopped that in the first round.
Yeah, that's bad. Not, and I give that guy credit because it's not an easy debut fight, but Sugar got to show exactly why.
It should have never been his debut fight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 2021 is about to be over, guys. We wanted just to give you guys our thoughts on the top fights of the year, top performances of the year, and just who we thought, put on a bang fest for the UFC in particular. Like I said, 2022, I expect big things. There's a lot of guys coming into the big time main card limelight. So I expect the UFC to put together some really good fights. I can't wait to see what they have in store for Sugar Sean, Bilal, Leon Edwards, everybody. I'm just really excited. And it's starting the year off with Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane. If you guys haven't yet, head over to Mad Matty Fight Talk. If you're already on my channel, go check out our prediction for that fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like always, man, I appreciate the support. Please share this video. Like and subscribe if you love this content or if you'd like to engage with us, because we're always about it.
Go ahead and go check out lightspeedpayments.com by going to www.lightspeed-payments.com. Go ahead and get 20% off of any of your processing equipment when you use the fight code MADMATTY. Now, everybody, when you guys go check out that Ngannou content that we have, please leave a comment on who you guys think is gonna win. You know, again, me and Matt have completely different outtakes. We don't practice any of this or talk about any of this before we get on the the conference call together. We just really want to know each other's opinions on this stuff. So leave us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think is your top 5 performances, or top 1 performance of the year, or top performance of fight of the night of the year, or any of that stuff. Go ahead and leave a comment, share, and like and subscribe. We
read it all. We try to respond to it all, and I love seeing other people's opinions. So hit us in the comments. Head over to MMA Underdog and like and subscribe to them, because there's a lot of content coming your way on that as well. But hey, man, 2021's about to be over. Merry motherfucking Christmas, and we salute you guys. So thank you for everything.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an